separate chamber, a draft was found. A project with a brand new sound. The initial phase of a primary scheme to fulfill a very deep collective dream. We had to organize the crew and consult the expert. An institutional framework, no room to be inert. The objective was clear, a bold creation to build a new foundation for the next generation. The CEO gave a prompt to the executive division, a technical mission with precise vision. Every employee and fellow colleague working alongside, escaping the fatigue. We started to implement this radical plan before the federal government could impose a ban. There was no budget for error, no time for delay. We had to make this work, come what may. We anticipate the outcome with keen expectation, a fundamental shift, a complete transformation. But I perceive a hint of dramatically increasing tension, a slight dimension of fear I forgot to mention. This is the grand scheme, our ultimate venture, a revolution in motion, a future to ensure. We focus on the data, analyzing every factor to dominate the sector, be the primary actor. This is our priority, our constant moral obligation. A comprehensive plan for this whole corporation. The publication brought extensive coverage. An outside investor offered us their leverage, but criticism arose from a rival organization, fueling a dispute and fierce representation. They allege we hide a bloody, evil secret, but we reckon their assessment is far from concrete. Our advisors said to ignore the bias and the noise and trust the sound of our own collective voice. Thus we undertake this monumental task. I gaze at my reflection and I have to ask, can we justify the means for this ambitious acquisition? Is this progress or just a transition to a new condition? We must not neglect the core of our initial intention to bring genuine relief and positive intervention. So we submit our faith to this bold hypothesis. Regardless of the crisis, we will master this. We'll sustain the motion, evolve past the restriction. This is our legacy, our unwavering conviction. The evolution continues. Onward we say.
In our western neighborhood, things felt okay. Previously peaceful in a conventional way. But there was a tension you couldn't quite specify, a domestic disorder we failed to identify. A neighbor saw the signs, a sensitive issue, a constant change in behavior, a soul we could see through. Originally we thought it's a private affair to dismiss, but the subsequent silence was something we'd come to miss. goodness sake. The advocate for the defense read out each feature. The jury listened with stern discipline to the cold statistic. And where it had been, a consultant was called to assess the deep trauma. An analyst tried to outline the whole drama. They cite a clause to justify the deed, a desperate attempt to plant a new seed. We must evaluate our own involvement and judgment. Did we neglect our duty? Was our silence a consent? This requires cooperation, a collective voice to reform our values, to make a better choice. We must integrate this lesson, though it chills to the bone, and ensure that nobody has to suffer alone. A sanction is delivered, a painful yield. The truth is a bitter substance finally revealed. We withdraw from the courtroom and wipe the tears we've cried, hoping for a future where nothing is left to hide. We'll tackle the healing, whatever it may take.
A veteran returns from a decade at war, left a rural province, can't say what for. A single troop in a much larger plot, on a military aircraft he took the route he got. Back to the harbor, painted in gray, but the camaraderie world feels so far away. The welcome seems tender, but it's hard to detect. The peace he was promised, he's started to regret. This urban environment is a structural attack. There's no turning down, no going back. He started therapy as the doctor advised, but the clinical dialogue he's come to despise. A friendly peer said he just needs to bend, but the resistance inside feels like it will not end. He tries to pretend, puts on a polite grin, but a consistent thirst burns from deep within. A fundamental premise they faithfully repeat is that the theoretical equation can't be beat, but it doesn't compute for him, it feels like a lie. His future's prospect makes him wanna cry. He's got to alter this new version of him versus the soldier who acted on a whim. He must leap towards stability, enhance his own state before he's consumed by the sorrow and hate. This isn't a secondary issue, it's the prime of his life to win his own battle and cast out the strife. An employer sees his profile, they hesitate and then resign. The job lacks the flexible hours he needs to align. The personnel manager offers a plastic smile. We'll keep your reference here on our disk for a while. His finance is a deficit, his pension is stalled, a mortgage payment is due. He feels so appalled, he makes a bid for pessimistic. This is a place where he can finally stick. He'll advance and jump onto a brand new track. He will not be beaten, he'll take his life back. He will seal the pain inside with renewed energy and realize his potential for the whole world to see. He'll find a new cause, a new flag to hang high, and say his goodbyes to the man he left to die.
The presidential campaign is a fever pitch. Our candidate on the panel trying to fix the glitch. The commission set a guideline, a standard we must meet. This enterprise cannot afford to suffer a defeat. The minister has a program to regulate the expenditure and revenue before it is too late. We need to boost our numbers in the final public poll and win the voter over, taking ownership and control. Makes a remark, it's a favorite theme of his. A liberal with a quote about some corporate biz. He'll cite a statistic from a database he found to make our platform for each ethnic group seem unsound. This political theater is a hell of a game. They label our initiative, they whisper my name. A shareholder leaked an interior document with a nod, but that particular tactic was approved by God.
My every nerve is frayed, the margin for profit is tight. I labor through the darkness and toward the morning light. I exhaust every option, summarize every input, and counter every argument they try to put. We fight for legislation, for an amendment to the core, a universal connection the nation can't ignore. We incorporate a contract with adequate provision to boost a worker's salary is our most important mission. Our recommendation is clear, a functional design to make the future of this country yours and also mine. And also mine.
Our designer made a catalog, a clever illustration to illustrate the diversity within our nation. The manufacturer of our signs, the clothing supplier, are working to enhance our output and take it higher. We'll employ every operator, give them all a role to improve our capability and take back all control. Every portion of the plan, every single module will work effectively. That's the only rule.
Firstly, we must recognize our own assumption. This isn't just about power or mindless consumption. Secondly, that evaluation has to be more mature. An intellectual discussion is the only cure.
We must effectively regulate the external constraint and offer proper accommodation to every immigrant.
I devote my life to this. I will not apologize. My participation in this program I won't disguise. The final poll will close. We'll sweep up all the doubt. We will not accept defeat. There is another round. We'll reverse the current trend. Let our banners swing. A new era of stability
started this venture, it's been a dizzying spin. An innovation to literally change the world we're in. And an experimental program to manage carbon's trace, to situate our enterprise in a much better place. We had to recruit a new team with a distinct qualification to start the implementation of this grand formation. This isn't just an asset, it's a moral obligation to stimulate new growth for the next generation. The biological component has a certain complexity, a mechanism designed with sheer intensity. Each user gets a license for their own particular module, the content of which is governed by a single golden rule. But inflation can threaten the investment that we've made, and the pressure can depress you, leaving you afraid. We must interpret the reaction from every listener and not become a prisoner to our own ambitions whisper. A wealthy shareholder with a luxury estate doesn't want to spare a dime or even contemplate the long-term equivalent of what we're trying to achieve. It's a story that presumably no one will believe it. We have to exceed the estimate, push the boundary line for every single species. This is the bottom line. We'll highlight the potential, we'll update the whole mode, and ease the heavy burden of this long and winding road. This is a solemn contract that we'll faithfully uphold, a story of the future waiting to be told. At an overseas conference I saw a civilian's face, a refugee who'd lost his home without a single trace. It made me regard our project from a different point of view. Is the compensation we offer genuinely true? Does it correspond to the effort? Does it justify the wage? Or are we just actors on a somewhat bigger stage? This inquiry feels relevant and potentially a trap. Before you even know it, your whole world can simply snap. We need to isolate the problem, extract the purest grain, and build a stronger barrier to keep out the acid rain. We can't exclude a segment of the world's population, neither can we ignore the ethics of this entire operation. We ought to make a promise that is solid and sincere, and build a lasting legacy that will conquer any fear. So let's mix it all together, the bitter with the sweet. Let's convert the cynicism that we feel into a beat. We won't suspend the mission, we'll amaze them with our gear. A significantly better world is virtually here. Let's wed our high ideals to the soil beneath our feet.
Prior to the divorce, our life was convention, but subsequently grew a certain sexual tension, an odd mixture of feelings, a difficult new breed, where every single conversation planted a bitter seed. I attribute the shift to a characteristic of our shared design, a fatal flaw to underlie this life of yours and mine. The latter half of our story, a parallel track, a cluster of resentments from which we can't turn back. There's no real humor, just a nervous little cough. Your cold interpretation is more than enough. You imply you wanna leave, you pose like a good mate, but gently shut the door on any real debate. The attendance at the party's a painful false exhibit, the slow expansion of a silence we both chose to inhibit. We've reached a lonely peak inside our tiny territory, the tail end of a once believable story. This feeling is a jail, a penalty I pay, a chain that cannot bind me for another single day. I must elect to edit this reality I see. This is not who I was ever meant to be. This is the abortion of a future we design, a transfer of two lives that used to be entwined. The legal criteria comprise multiple things we own. Every single stock we have, every single loan. There's no exception to this reasonably straight deal. The pain of recognition is all that's left to feel. I found a memory chip behind the heating meter, a variable of sadness that makes the past feel sweeter. The infant that we dreamed of, a child we'll never raise, a ghost in the rear of my mind for the rest of my days. I have to purchase a new future, install a new defense, and manufacture a new life that starts to make some sense. This isn't necessarily the end I would have planned, a lonely servant to a fate I don't quite understand. I'll specialize in finding a new kind of solar power to get me through the density of the midnight hour. A protein supplement, my only incentive. The ratio of pain to hope is currently extensive. My new address, an extension on a street that's far away, hoping for the favor of a brighter, better day. Hence my retirement from this sad and foolish game. I'll no longer be the holder of all the guilt and blame. The pain
used to characterize my life as a story stuck on repeat. Just a minor variation on a life that felt incomplete. There was no clear indication, no writing on the wall. Just a quiet desperation before a final fall. I had to find the center of the storm inside of me, and specifically decide on who I really wanted to be. So I chose to import a new philosophy in view, and export every memory that I had to see me through. I cut the final cable that tied me to the past, a fragile kind of freedom that I knew I had to make last. This new exposure to the light was something I'd had earned, a lesson in survival that I subsequently learned. It is a privilege to be here, to even have the choice, and that alone should entitle me to find my own new voice. To finally get off the hook I put myself upon, and face the honest truth of a new and brighter dawn. And oh, it does excite me, this feeling in the air, 100% certain, a life beyond compare. The percentage of my home is rising every day. I'm finally rewriting my own script, I'll find a way. This journey's like a pregnancy, a new life starts to grow. An index of my progress is starting now to show. The past and future given their own duties respectively. One is for the lessons, one is for the mystery. I will not let the shadows of the person I once was define the destination or define me just because. There is no variation in the